Okay.
So thanks for jumping on. Sorry for all the technical difficulties we're having. Happy New Year. So I just wanted to go over some announcements first because there's kind of a lot going on this week and next week. So we started our 7-day jumpstart training today. And so it's the same one that we did in November, but I am adding another bonus training to it called Fuel Your Fire, which a lot of you have done and a lot of you haven't done. And it's really more based on actions. So like today we did our list of 100 names, and then we're going to learn how to add people and invite people, kind of what we're doing on the Power Hour calls, but it's just going to be broken up into little videos. So that's in there. If you're not in that group and want to be added, make sure you ask your coach. Then we're starting a 3-day Push to Emerald group tomorrow. And it's only 3 days because we're going to make them just intense, because you can really get to Emerald in a day if you really want it that bad. I think for me, once I realized I just had to sign up my mom and my friend who was drinking Shakeology, I literally got there in a day. I was like, why did I wait 3 months to become an Emerald? So we're keeping this Push to Emerald group really short and concise, and hopefully we'll have a lot of Emeralds. Yay, Susan's the host now. I'll finish the announcements. You can still play on your computer. And then
on my computer, I'm on my tablet, so I don't know how this is going to work.
Well, we'll figure it out. I don't know how you could share the screen on your tablet. I don't even have video still, so I'm just a blank box. I don't even get a picture. Anyways, okay, so Push to Emerald group is this week, starting tomorrow, and it'll finish up on Friday. And then right from there, we're starting a Push to Diamond group that's only 7 days. And same thing, it's going to be intense. We're trying something new to keep it 7 days, because really to get to Diamond, you need to have 12 coaches under you. So when you look at it like that, it's just really inviting a lot of people to the business. Which leads me to an easy way to invite to the business. We are doing, I just posted the event today. We're doing another online event on Wednesday. So these are fun because it's just like people come on, and every 5 to 10 minutes we post little videos and comments about what we do as coaches. So they don't have to be live. They don't have to deal with Zoom not working properly. And, it can just be a good way to invite. So make sure that you invite people on Wednesday and you set that goal up for yourself. I am going to invite, what my plan is, I shared a little bit, but I've been talking to a lot of people about the business. And so I'm going to follow up with all of those people by saying, hey, I don't know if you were still interested, but we're doing this event on Wednesday. Would you like an invite? And I really think it's important to ask people if they want the invite, because recently I was added into a group, a New Year, New You group, without someone asking me. And I was offended because I don't know who this person was. They added me into a weight loss group without asking me, which makes you just feel terrible about yourself. So I really think as a team, I want to make sure we don't ever do that to people, because it's just rude. So always ask people if they want to join you, because no one wants to feel like, hey, you need to be in my group. And I told her too, don't just spam people and add them. Like Facebook is getting strict on that. And she was like, I didn't just add you. But anyway, so just don't do that to people. So that event is Wednesday. And then I'm trying to think, I'm talking so fast. I'm trying to get caught up on everything. Then Punta Cana. This is tricky. So the Success Club trip for 2017 is broken up in 2 waves. And obviously we want as many people to go at the same time as possible. But realistically, we all have different schedules, and it's kind of hard to coordinate, 400 people or however many are trying to go from our team at the same time. So do what's best for you. We did a little survey. It's kind of split. I think more people are going on the first wave, and, registration opens up next week. And like last time with the cruise, it sold out within 5 minutes. It was crazy. So I'm hoping this year, because they're doing 2 trips, it's going to be a better situation. But I just want to warn people, like, set an alarm in your phone to log in right when it goes live. so that you can be ready to go, and have your spouse or whoever you're taking with you's information with you, because a lot of times they ask for their birthday and their full name and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you have that. But seriously, I'm like, AJ, I always mess up his birthday year. I'm like, is it AJ?
Wait, what's your full name?
Action Jackson. So make sure you get people's names and info ready to register. Set an alarm. What else is happening? Team Cup is happening again in February. So we'll start to talk about setting up teams again for that. And did I miss anything else? Cafe Latte came out finally. We were all waiting for the link. That is out. I need to send people that it's finally out now, and you need to get samples. And if you are a coach on my team, I usually only send out samples to customers, because coaches, you can really get the shakes and do the same thing. So I'm getting packets and sending some out. What else? Anything else I'm missing? Did I get it all?
That's all I was planning on.
Okay. How are you doing over there? Can you share anything?
I have an iPhone, MacBook, a PC, and an iPad, and the iPad's the only thing that's working.
That's fun. Well, do you want to just talk through your power hour and explain like how you break it up?
That's going to be fun for people.
Well, just because you have a busy schedule with teaching and being a mom and being pregnant, and so like how do you fit it all in?
All right. So here's what I'll do. Hopefully I don't make everybody nauseous, but I'm going to run the video through my tablet, and then I can flip and hopefully share my screen. Maybe, I don't know. So if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I apologize. We can get rid of that. Mainly, where is it? What I wanted to do first is, when I first started a power hour, this was the image, and it's not going to pop up now. It was this, you have 20 minutes to do this, and 20 minutes to do that, and 20 minutes to do this. And that just doesn't work for me because I get very distracted. If I'm supposed to be on Facebook inviting people, I end up scrolling. So I really needed it to break down even further and say, okay, this is my list. I need to go and invite 2 new people. I need to go make new contacts. So I'm part of a mom's group. I do a lot of stuff in my mom's group. I'm a part of a nursing group. And then most recently, as weird as it sounds, I joined a local garage sale group where people sell. And it's a local way. And for those of you who don't know me, I have a 15-month-old and I'm due in March. So I technically have to do a second nursery. So I posted onto this Facebook group asking for if any extra nursery materials that they weren't using, like a diaper genie and a changing table and stuff like that. And I got this remarkable response, but in order to message these people, I basically had to become friends with them. So it was my cheap little way of adding friends without even really thinking about adding friends. Let's see if I can find it. So it's just another thing. Like, I don't know if this works at all. No. I tried. Okay, I give up.
But I think even just that concept is a good idea. So just talk us through it. We'll visualize it.
So I posted, and then I had some people respond to it, and so therefore those were my 3 new friends that I added, my 3 new contacts. So I've got these ladies that I send friend requests, which then gives me a basic way of connecting with them without having to go straight into, hey, this is funny and yada, yada, yada. We're connecting on the fact that they have things that I need, and eventually, so we started a conversation. How old are your kids? The woman I'm talking to about buying a changing table from, her daughter just turned 8 and she hired a live band. So like, we just just the stuff that comes out. And so it's trying to just become a natural conversation starter, which I know for me, Allison and I have been joking about it. Yeah, I've been a coach for 4.5 years, but I've never really officially started my business until, I would like to say, last January, but if we're really being serious about it, in July when we got pregnant with our second, because I decided I needed to stay home. And it was the kick in the pants that I needed to go. And so I was never good at talking to people. It was, yeah, you need to invite people, but how do I invite? And how do I just add people? I'm like, I'm really just supposed to go into this group and add random people? Well, yes, you are. And here you go. And this is how I do it. So people who are selling American Girl dolls, there we go. That's unfortunately something that is going to be a part of my life. So I need to talk to these people. So that's how I'm adding. And then I have a really nice Google Doc about how I these names all organized and whatnot, which you guys unfortunately can't see. I even updated it today. But I know Allison and some of the other coaches have talked about it, is I write down who it is, and then I save it in my January list. So it's who I've added, who I'm contacting. And it's, for me, being a visual person, this is really killing me that I can't show anybody. Sorry.
Can you share the Google Drive, like the Google link? Is it a shareable one?
Yeah.
Or is that too hard on an iPad, phone, computer?
Well, I'm let's see.
Why is technology not our friend tonight?
Seriously.
I don't even get a picture for a face. I'm just a black screen. What is that?
Too many different places. Okay, so in Ignited Nation, I just posted my, what I call my Beachbody monthly list. If you go ahead and open it, they're all tabbed down at the bottom. So like my first tab is my giant mega master list that has everyone who I've ever come in contact with. And then I used to color code it, but that just got to be very overwhelming. Whoever's doing this, thank you.
It's me. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so there's my mega list, and then obviously I've been working on it since January, and then there's my honesty, as I trailed off after Summit last year, but then came back into it. So I'm adding to it and how I'm talking to these people. Don't look at January.
What month do you want it on?
Well, we can put in January because then I can start adding people to it.
Oh, okay.
So there's Brenda. So my first one is I added Brenda, Tay, and this is really fun trying to hold everything up. So here's the first person I added to my network from this group. And we've already actually started the conversation because he has some fun stuff that I could be using and whatnot. So basically, and I know everybody says it, but just stuff you're interested in, there are other people out there. I'm a part of a running group, and the group is named the Pathetic Runners. And so there's actually a lot of Beachbody coaches in there, but I definitely like to make sure like that they're not already affiliated. But does that make sense? Or am I just rambling?
So you add your people, you keep them all in separate tabs a month?
I do, because that way I know who I've talked to, and I can use it as a way to see who was interested last month but said not now, and then be able to follow up with, or who said they were interested but they needed to wait a couple months and things like that. So it's just a way for me to do it monthly, what they were interested in and how they were interested and whether or not they were ready to jump the gun or if they needed a little bit more time. So
cool. I like that.
I like that.
because with December, that's how my list got to be so big, as I had people who were like, yeah, I'm interested, but now is not the right time. Well, there's still a lot of people who now still not the time, but yeah, they're interested in 21 Day Fix. I'll challenge packs back.
Cool.
That's a good idea, because especially where it's January now, and even if you made 12 documents for each month, and then like say like you reached out to someone now and they were gonna have a baby in March, if we go to Marches and write their name.
Exactly, or even start talking to them in February and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I actually had a mom reach out to me, and I should probably add her to my January list. She's due any day now, and she's like, so I know I want to do the 21 Day Fix, and she's like, so I need to wait 6 weeks. And I'm like, actually, with the Fix, the really great thing is that you don't have to wait. And so being a mom really helps for my brand and point of view, and the fact that I can get moms to start dropping that weight without having to do a program right away. So, and it doesn't even have to be for new moms. It can be somebody coming off of an injury and things like that, that starting with the containers and Shakeology is a great jumping point. So you're not starting everything all at once, which I think really helped a lot of people feel more comfortable that everybody wasn't freaking out at once.
Yeah.
About having to do new food and a shake and a workout and a this. So it was just kind of like wean your way in.
Yeah. I like that.
Cool. Yeah, I do too, because I feel so overwhelmed with spreadsheets.
Yeah, it's like such a big, I don't really have a huge list, but it can be such a big list. So I think dividing it up into months is good.
Yeah. Well, I think you can just follow up better too, because it's easier to see it.
Yeah, it's like not so much.
It's
That's
not
why I
so overwhelming. I
Yeah.
really like the idea of breaking it up by month. I get overwhelmed with my list when I keep it all in one, and then I
One of
start
mine,
tracking it.
fine. I like that. Cool. So you add people from your groups or from your Facebook friends, and then you put them on your list, and then which invite?
I tend to,
If you want me to screen share anything else, let me know.
if you want to screen share my, I want to
Yes, please.
when I'm sending out invites for challenge groups or programs and things like that, I have the general room that most of us are using. I think it's just a script that is actually posted in Ignited Nation. But then I kind of tweak it as everybody is doing, everybody's tweaking it a little bit. So it's, hey, Jill, how are you doing? Especially with it being January, the first of the year. I know in the last couple months, we've been talking about doing the 21 Day Fix, or, getting a jump start on health and nutrition. Would now be a good time, or I personally, I think that's where I tend to connect with a lot of people, saying that I'm doing it. Not that I'm starting a group per se, but that I'm going to be doing the 21 Day Fix, and I'm looking for accountability. Is this something that they'd be interested in right now? Hi, Maddie.
Oh, say hi.
Welcome to my distraction. Why my power hour isn't over.
So did you just say what you say in a separate file, or are you just using what's in Ignited Nation?
To be honest with you, I open up a previous message from someone else. Like I'm trying to find one of somebody who I've sent it to. In November, I sent out a message and I said, hey, I know we talked about Shakeology and the 21-day fix. I want to let you know I'm looking to start, and I'm looking, any interest in keeping me accountable. Is this something you'd be interested in? Let me know what you think. Whatever. I quit. And then I tend to just copy and paste from, so I have it saved in Evernote, but then instead of having 75 different tabs open, I just personally open up a previous message of somebody who I've already sent a document to, like who I've already sent an invite to, and I copy it and paste it into the new message and then edit it from there. Obviously changing out their names, changing out how I'm been connecting with them and what I'm looking to do with them. So that, I know it's not a great system, but I get a little tab. Like I know we talked about the my month list, but having too many things open, I get distracted too easily and too many clicks and things like that. So if I can just have Facebook open in my master list, that's all I really need. And then I just kind of bounce back and forth between the two. And I find that keeping it really short and sweet tends to work. And especially adding in the no pressure kind of are you interested? Let me know. If not, no big deal. I just thought you might be interested. And at least that way I can get them to respond. And I would rather take some kind of objection, which I can work with, as opposed to radio silence and not having anything, and then having to come back to them and being like, hey, did you get my message? So I tend to feel more comfortable keeping it very neutral, very relaxed, and I tend to get more responses that way. So
Cool. That makes sense. What about for the business invites?
for the business invites, I tend to do roughly the same thing. I put it in, I basically work off my Google list. I work off my Google list for everything and then flip it into Facebook, into messages. So in my December list, when I was talking to somebody, like in December, I was talking to this girl, Terry. She was actually one of my Beachbody leads, who is signing as a coach next week, which I'm really excited about. So I put her on my Google list, and then I went over to Facebook and opened it up. And again, I'm not a fan of needing to recreate the wheel, I guess, being a busy mom and a teacher. Why create it if I don't have to? So my coaching invite, like my invite to the business was, hope you had a new year. I know we've been talking about the Beachbody as a business and becoming a coach. I want to let you know that we're starting a training, or that now is really the time to, with New Year's resolutions, now is the time to jump on board and get a feel for what other successful coaches are doing. Do you think you're ready to jump on board, or do you need more time? Again, giving them the option of saying no without without the stress of it. And again, I've had some really great results with it. Just keeping it laid back. Like I had a customer today when we were talking about it, and she's like, so what's this whole coach thing? And I explained it to her. She's like, so why wouldn't everyone want to be a coach? And I'm like, there's my question for you. I don't know. Makes sense, doesn't it? But it doesn't to everybody. But it's one of those, the more you can get the conversation going, the easier it is, even if all it is objections. Because I was there, and to be honest with you, I have to deal with objections every day when I work this business, because my husband is my number one objection. He doesn't get it. And so I get a lot of practice working with him. Not that I think he'll ever jump on board unless I'm full-time and working from home, but he gives me a lot of practice. And I used to be really nervous about having to deal with objections, and I'd run to Allison because she's my upline. But I don't anymore. I've started to get in the feel of it and not take it so personally.
Mm-hmm.
When those come in, I sit and it's like, oh, sure. I remember feeling that. And then just being completely honest and going from the heart and not giving such a scripted response. I think when I first started out, I was so thinking that I had to be by the book and so scripted. And now it's just kind of become more of a natural thing. That I think the people I'm connecting with are, really taking into consideration. So that's how I invite. I know it sounds like it took a long time since it's almost 20 to 9 Chicago, but I promise it only takes, when I buckle down, it's 10 to 15 minutes. Power hour, we tend to, we always talk about reading or listening. I guess my power hour really is broken up into multiple parts during the day. I have 2 45-minute commutes. I know it's nowhere near as long as Stephanie's commute, but a commute is commute, it sucks. So I download a lot of like old national wake-up calls and listen to those on the way in. Build Your Tribe, a lot of the Chalene Johnson I do on the way home from work. Basically whoever my daughter will let me listen to in the car. If it's a nice happy voice, she really seems to like Chalene, so we go with that. But just anything audible I have found is another big go-to I like, because when I get home, I don't have a lot of downtime. It's bath time and run around and play and try and help my husband get dinner on the table. And then after Aubrey goes to bed, I like to spend some time with my husband. But I'm 7 months pregnant, so I need to be in bed by 8 o'clock. So I give myself a pat on the back for still being awake right now.
Woohoo!
But, and just because it's power hour doesn't mean it has to be done 60 minutes at a time. And I think that's my saving grace in this, is I can do 15 minutes on my lunch break if I need to do my inviting there. And I can do my professional development in the car when I really don't have any other time to get a book in my hand. I can have somebody read it to me, and it makes it so much easier. I don't know.
I was going to ask you one more thing before we finish up. And now I'm trying to think. Oh, what about telling your story?
Oh, telling my story. Why? Because I haven't told it in 4.5 years and I just wrote it down.
Yes.
I listened to people tell me over and over and over again how important it is to write your story. And I never thought that I had one. And my story, it started out that way. And I was like, I never had a transformation. I've only ever completed one program. I'm not in health and fitness. Why would anybody want to listen to me? Well, what I'm finding is people like them who are not necessarily the fitness professionals or who have it all under control and have every idea what's going on. They like people who are along for the journey just like they are. So, I've been at 4.5 years and I'm still figuring it out, and that's the biggest part. And so now my next big scary step, which scary step number 1 was jumping on tonight's call and attempting to lead, which whatever, it is what it is. My next step is to actually get that story out there, and be even more vulnerable with people. I've got some family members who aren't on board, but it's just like, what, too bad, so sad. And I don't know, Allison and I were talking about it, but 4.5 years, if I had one do-over in this business besides actually not waiting 4.5 years to seriously get started, it would be to listen to the webinar that talks about coach placement. My husband is placed, like, I never thought placement was a big deal, and now I fully get it. And I think it was Steph's I think it was her call a couple weeks ago that really talked about where to place your coaches and how important it is to keep, you know, your significant others and stuff like that up at the top. My husband is 5 or 6 down, and if I would have just listened and understood what all of that meant, I think it could have been a big game changer. And but it is what it is. So you haven't seen Stephanie's call on placement and volume. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. She breaks it down into such simple terms that it's so easy to get. And I think it's been one of my favorites. So.
Oh, thank you.
I've tried to show it to other coaches, like not yours, but like others, and it just didn't make sense. But yours, it was like, oh, it's really easy. Okay. I get it now. Like, it was just completely like mind-blowing and game-changing. So thank you.
Oh, good. I thought it would be confusing, so I'm glad.
Oh,
Yay. But yeah, it's so true. Like we'll talk about it in our Emerald group too, but like having your spouse at the top, which I'm mad too. Like AJ's not at the top. He's underneath Stephanie. Like, wah, wah. Like he's like 5 down as well. So I think the more people just like, if you have a spouse, sign them up early.
yeah, even if they sit inactive.
Even if they're inactive and you're paying $15 a month, at some point, if you're going to work this business, it's going to be worth it.
Yeah. It's a placement, and it's just smart. But everybody's got to learn the ropes for themselves. But that'd be my big takeaway. So.
But thanks for sharing your power hour and, you know, figuring out a way to share it. I'm glad we just put it up on the screen because it helps. I think this will help a lot of people who feel overwhelmed by spreadsheets or who need a better way to follow up. Like doing it month by month helps. And then also, I like how you just kind of keep it even simple, like only have Facebook and this open, and then you just copy and change your messages within the Facebook Messenger. So that makes it super simple. Then you don't have to go like me and look on every single posted on your computer to find what you want to send to somebody. So I like that too.
I wanted to be organized and keep it in Google or keep it in Evernote, but I'm like, Facebook saves it all for me. So why not? So.
Yeah. And on pages, you can even like tag conversations. You can list these stuff, which is cool. Anybody else have any questions before we go? Thanks for cooperating with our technical difficulties.
Great job,
Thanks,
Susan.
Brenda for jumping into and starting the Zoom. Yay. Cool. Awesome job, Susan. Thank you for sharing with us.